What's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today I figured we try something different. So I know one of y'all asked me how I go about recreating my palettes and the process I do, so I figured we could do that today. I got some new palettes in that I bought off Macari and one I bought from Colourpop themselves, so I figured I'd go ahead and, you know, show you which palettes I got, show you what palettes I plan on changing out shades with, and then I'll turn the camera over to where you see my hands doing what I need to do, because, you know, you're not going to sit here and try to do all that. That'd be a lot. Plus, that's not going to give you the full experience of what I'm doing. So, let me show you what I got. So, y'all know I got the Lav-ish palette. I was supposed to give you all the video on this when I got it. I ended up not doing it because I figured you didn't care. I did give you an eye look with it though on Instagram, and people seem to like the look. It was a nice cool tone purple. Y'all know I'm a purple palette connoisseur, so they like Pokemon, honey. I gotta catch them all. But, so I had to get this one. Plus, it's a cool tone difference between the, what is that? It's the amethyst. That's what it was called. I don't know why it was such a struggle bus for me. I'm just about to grab it out the drawer real quick so I can compare them now, since I never did that video like I was supposed to. But y'all didn't seem to really care when I said why you didn't need it, so I figured you didn't care about having a video on it. That was the hint for me. That was the hint for me. So let me show both these palettes. So here's what they look like. As you can see, this one is way more cool tone than this one. This one has more warm tone, neutral berries type feel to it, and this is just straight up cool tone. So that's why I ended up getting both. But you know, I wanted you to see that yeah, they aren't exactly the same. But in that video, if I remember correctly, I didn't say they were exactly the same. I said they were similar. So I try not to be like, yeah, it's factual, it is exactly this or whatever, because since I don't have it, I can't necessarily say. We just have to go off the pictures. But I decided I want to switch out some of the purples in here, because if y'all see, this is one of those purple glitter shades that they make that they don't necessarily call glitters, because they finally milled it down enough to where it doesn't seem like a pressed glitter shade, but it has that consistency to me, just a smoother, less grittier one. And I want to see if I can get rid of this sequin purple shade or not. If I can't, that's okay. I won't get rid of it at this time, but I want to get rid of this, and I know I have a palette in mind that I pressed some shadows in that I'm going to be changing it out, so I don't need to put it back in the box. So I did my Let's Roll palette. I made these shades at home. I took out all the Give Me Glow singles that I used to have and pressed them into smaller pans that would fit into these. So I'm thinking I'm going to take this shade from here or this shade from here and put it into the Lav-ish palette, because I feel like it'll give it some extra pop and pizzazz, especially this shade right here. I'm really thinking I'm going to put this in the Lav-ish palette because I think it'll just give it extra oomph. So we're going to pair this up with the Lav-ish, and you'll see how I switch it around. But I usually don't, ahead of time, don't have colors that I plan on pulling out of palettes, but in this instance I do. Next, I finally got my hands on the Snow White palette. I love Disney princesses, so I was gonna get this palette eventually. I was waiting for it to go on sale. It went on sale on their website, but I think I ended up missing out on the sale before I got to buy it, so I bought it off somebody off Macari. So the Lav-ish one I bought from Colourpop's website, and these next two I'm going to show you I bought from a person off Macari. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Stunning and beautiful. Now I do want to get rid of these two sequin shades right here, and I don't feel like I need these two light tones for someone my skin tone. I feel like the peachy one will work for me well enough. So my plan is to take out this one and these two right here and replace them with something else. So the palette I'm thinking about doing that with is my New York NYX palette from Colourpop. I want this dark brown in here to come out of there. Now what I'm going to replace that other shade with, probably one of these shades. I feel like it work better in my skin tone, because it's like, it's okay to have a nice beige shade, but the beige shade needs to work for my skin tone. So I'm thinking we're going to take this one out. So I'm thinking these two for sure. Now what I'm going to do about that other shade, I'm not exactly sure. I was thinking maybe to take this one because it has an orangey reddish swing to it that would give something different to the Cinderella palette. So I'm not Cinderella, just the Snow White palette. They haven't done Cinderella yet. I'm waiting on it though. Now I kind of want them to do the Little Mermaid, because you know they have a black Little Mermaid, so I feel like they should do that collection next. But here's what both of them look like together. See, I'm thinking this shade will work really nicely in the place of this one right here, that sequin that I want to take out. And then y'all know the neutral tones in here are going to work better for my skin tone because they're deeper, so we're going to switch those two out. And then the last one I had, y'all know I had to get it. Alice in Wonderland is one of my all-time favorite movies. Now, I've always been confused. Maybe y'all can comment down below and help me. Is Alice supposed to be a princess? Because I feel like she is. Because remember, at the end of Alice in Wonderland, the cartoon, she's walking back to a castle with the lady who I'm assuming is her governess. That's what makes me think that she's a princess, and they just don't fully tell us she's a princess. Why? I don't know. But I've always thought Alice in Wonderland was a princess, or Alice was a princess. But somebody comment down below and tell me if you know, because I hear there's a whole book on it, but I don't know if in the book they try to make her be a princess or not. But I feel like they alluded to it at the end when they had her walking back to the castle. I don't know. But here's what it looks like. As y'all can see, this is not necessarily my cup of tea. There's not any deep shades for me to put on the outer V, so that's not gonna work. And then a lot of these shades have shimmer in them, which y'all know I don't like. And then this is a pressed glitterish type shade, so y'all know I'm not feeling that at all. So I feel like I'm going to pull 3 shades from here as well. I want this shade going. I want this shade going because that's sequin in. Otherwise, it's fine. And I want this shade going because it looks like it's that pressed glitter type. So the only palette I have to work with in this shape size is the Witching Hour palette. I actually had this on sale on my Macari page, but I'm going to take it down because obviously we're using it for this video, so I can't sell it to you with the different shades in it. I mean, I could, but like, who would necessarily want it? I don't know. But here's what she looks like on the outside. So needless to say, I got all my grungy, deeper tones I need for my outer V to make it work. So I might move some of the other shades around just so the color story will look more aesthetically pleasing, if you will. But this is the palette we're going to use to replace the shades in the Alice in Wonderland palette. So here's what they look like together. I'm thinking that dark green shade would be fun to replace the black with. I still want to bring in the dark purple because I feel like that'll go on nice with the pink shade. And then I just need to pull a shimmer to replace the glitter. So this is what we're working with. So without further ado, let's get into it, girl. If you're curious what's on my eyes right now, this is the Nomad Province palette. I did another palettes that inspired me video, so that's what's going on with the eyes. I just get some fun eyeliner because the yellow shade that's supposed to be up here, I feel like isn't giving the way I was hoping it would give. So I was like, let me just improvise and get some fun brightness going on with the look, because otherwise it just looks like, you know, not that it doesn't look nice, but I feel like this just gives the extra oomph of yellow that I was hoping that bright yellow matte would give that it's not. So in all fairness, I didn't use a white base though, so that could be it. But without further ado, girl, let's get over here and start organizing these palettes. So I'm probably start off with the Lav-ish one because I feel like that's the easiest one, and then I'll get into the ones that I feel like I'm gonna have to rearrange the color story with. It might take a little longer. Let's go over there. Okay, y'all, so here are the palettes set up nicely, if you will. Maybe I should back up a little bit. I was bored from when I used to work at Home Depot. If y'all remember, I worked at Home Depot before I started working at DoorDash. So the display boards that you see in the store, like when we throw them away and bring in new seasons, I would just take them home so that way I could do my Instagram pictures. So I still have some, so I was like, I'm gonna use one here. Sorry y'all, I'm literally like sitting behind the camera in order to like be able to make sure it's filming properly. So I'm hoping this goes well. Okay, so I told y'all I was gonna take this shade out right here, and we were going to replace it, back that on up, with this shade right here. So I have this little spatula I got that I found amongst my grandma's things when my mom was cleaning out her house where we are now a couple of years ago. It's almost 2 years ago now. So I honestly just pop magnetic stuff out with that. I know they have a magnet, and that's probably more safer. They should probably pick one of those up. You can pick it up at like Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, but I usually just stick it like, sorry, let me try to hold an angle where you can see what I'm doing. So I'll like go in here and make sure I didn't dig in the shadow, because I've done that quite a few times and then I've been upset. So I'll pull it out like that, and then I'm just going here and do the same thing. So I'll take the same spatula. Fun fact, my girl Karen Harris, this was her first PR from Colourpop, this Let's Roll palette. Anyway, so I'm gonna pop this out and take that, and we're just gonna pop her in like that, and look how much better that makes the palette look than that shimmer that they had going on. Like, I definitely say that looks better than that by a long shot. I don't like these glitter shades. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this now, but for now I feel like that will do it, because it's not like they don't have a deeper tone in there, so I don't need to take this deeper one right here and put it in there. So I'm gonna just leave that one in there for now, and we have finished this palette. So I told you all this was gonna be the easiest one, which is why I wanted to get it out the way. I don't have a shade to change this purple sequence with yet, but when I find one, honey, we can revisit her and get rid of it, or I might just do it on my own, because I figure that won't be that exciting moving that one shade. So we are done with the Lav-ish palette. Now let's move on to the Snow White palette. So if y'all remember, I said I was gonna take 3 shades out of this palette, so we're gonna do that now. It is so uncomfortable and difficult to like film this right now. Y'all don't even understand because I'm like behind the camera, but I'm trying to make sure you see my hands and everything I do in it. So I'm gonna take these two shades out for sure. I told you all that, and then this one can go as well because this is just a lighter, peachier version of this one, and obviously this one will work better for my skin tone. So the rest of the shades seem fine. I want to make the palette still somewhat true to the way it's supposed to be, but I have to procure it to make it work best for my eyes as well. Because let's be realistic, girl. That's what it's for. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this black shade out. Telling y'all, get that metal thing as opposed to having to do this, because I could easily dig into the shadow. So I'm not recommending you use a spatula at all. I'm just using what I have right now because I was trying to get this video filmed tonight. So sorry if you didn't see that, but we have popped the shade out successfully. And now we got an empty spot. So now I'm going to go into the brown shade that I told you all I want to use and take out. So we're going to take this one out and add it in. So I just find a spot that looks like it'd be easy to pop out with the spatula, and then I just pop it out, girl, because I'll be like trying not to dig in shadows so badly. Okay, so we got it. First try. Okay. I'll pop that one in there, and I feel like it'll go better with that dark red at the bottom too than this sparkly black. So I'm gonna just put it in the empty space we took out of here. Next one we're going to do is the one above there, and I think I'm going to take, only thing is I feel like this shade is really similar to that shade, so I kind of don't want to do that. But we already have like golds and light bronzes too, so the only thing that I could put in there to replace that one would have to be this one now. So I guess we're going to take this orange shade now in the space of that, just because I don't like the fact that there's a sequence there. So I'm going to put this orangish reddy shade there. So go ahead and pop that out now. I'll pop that off. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I can pop it off on camera. One thing is I feel like when I'm popping them out, like you don't see if it comes out successfully or not, because the way I have to place my hands to get it out and not worry about messing up the shadow. But okay. There we go. We just take her out. And honestly, I hate to say it, but I don't care if like I end up digging into this shadow or not, because I don't like sequin shadows, if you all haven't realized by now. Because whenever they're in the palette, I'm like, oh, nope, it's got to go. You got to go. So this one has to go. We just got to find a spot. We're not digging into shadow, because you just saw when I just did that, like I popped into the shadow, and we don't want to do that. Well, like I said, with this one I don't care, but as a general I don't want to, so I think I should practice that with this and act like it's a shadow I actually care about. So as you can see, we've gotten to the outer layer. I just popped it out like so, and we're gonna pop this there for now. And I feel like it actually blends in pretty well, all things considered. So again, we're just gonna pop this into this palette now. And the last shade we need to take out is, I'm trying to decide if we should do this shade or this one. I feel like this one will be more beigey and appropriate, especially because we get that kind of orange shade. Well, let's actually put them side by side and see, because I feel like this one just has a little bit more warmth to it than that one does, but that could be helpful in looks. But this one actually seems like it's warmer than that one, so it's like this could be more like, I guess, for this side of the palette, and then this brighter one could be more for that side of the palette. So I think I'm actually going to go with this shade over. So I'm going to pop this one out, and then we'll pop that one out. And as you can see, I got a little chunk in that one because I think I might have messed it up when I was popping it out. So see, just pop that in there. And I usually have the other shade already popped out, so this time I gotta pop this one out. So let's find an angle where it's not gonna pop the shadow itself. Okay, so y'all see I got it popped in there, and she should just pop out, hopefully. I hate when they drop back in after I have like popped it out, then I have to do a whole bunch of extra. So got a little nick in that one, but that's okay. So yeah, so as you can see, that's giving more of what I feel like would work for my skin tone. This one just seems like it's a little bit too light, so just pop her on in there, and we have successfully completed this palette. So now I have like more of a warm tone fun side and more of a like neutrally pop of blue side, which essentially what this palette was to me, but y'all know I was fine with that. Plus, I'm one of those people who likes Disney, so I was like, let me go ahead with that. So we have successfully completed the finishing 2 palettes. So we'll go ahead and do the last one, and then I'll reopen all of them and show how we recreated them, if you will. So now we have our Lost in Alice. Now this one to me is going to be probably the most challenging, just because it has the most colors that I feel like don't go together well. So we might actually have to rearrange this palette around based upon the color story that goes with it. And here's the other one. So, oh sorry, can't see both of them. Let me. That's better. So there's both the palettes side by side. So I feel like they did, like, they wanted to have a mauvey pink tone row. They wanted to have a, like, you want to be unique couple kind of rows. Because I'm confused as to where this color story was actually supposed to be going, y'all. I'm really just, I don't understand. If you understand, that's great. I'm just over here like somewhat confused. So I'm gonna start off by taking off the black. So I'm gonna take off this black shade and we're gonna replace it with this shade. So let me pop this one out really quick. Get a fine angle. That's why I'm telling y'all, go ahead and get the tool as opposed to doing this, because I have to constantly try to find angles and make sure I don't injure shadows. So once you feel all the way down in there, then you know that you've got the shadow out. So we're gonna take that out now. And now we're gonna go for this black shade. I'm honestly not concerned if I end up injuring it. Oh crap, this looks like it's bigger. Y'all, I think we might have a problem. Because this looks like it's bigger than that. This one. Oh crap, it is. Yeah, see, it's bigger than that one. So it's gonna look crazy for a little while, but it's gonna go in there because, yeah, no. This color story just is not what it is. It's just, I can't fit it back in there. So I'm gonna have to put this in the palette because, as you can see, this is bigger than that. So it's gonna be an interesting looking little palette. And I threw the cat in there sideways, but it's okay. It's fine. What do I want to replace the blue with? I kind of want to leave the blue there for now because I like the way this robe looks. But it's like I don't have an icy shimmery shade to replace this shade with. That's the only thing that sucks. But we're still going to replace it because I just don't like that shade. So, what can I replace that glitter with? Because I feel like there aren't really transition shades in here I can use. So maybe I can replace it with something I feel like it would be a transition shade for me, because this shade is okay for transition. And I guess this is okay, but I don't know. This palette just seems weird to me, like something is missing. I don't. It's like, you know how you can't put your finger on something that's missing, but it's like you know something's missing. Like, it's like I know something is missing, but I can't put my finger on it. I kind of want to just change this shade out with a purple shade, to be honest, because think about it. This can go with a lot of these shades right here, this darker shade right here, but there's no darker shade to really go with these shades. So I think I'm just going to take this deep purple shade right here and replace it with the glitter for now until I find a palette that actually has the right size, because I didn't realize that those were bigger because they looked similar and you had to think I didn't have it in person. So I'm going to take this purple shade out if I can find a good angle to pull it out at. Okay, yeah, that feels like it's coming out. Okay, this one seems to be a lot more difficult to pull out than the other ones. I don't know if it's because they're tightly squeezed in there because of the pan sizes that they have, but this glitter has got to go, honey. I'm sorry, she gotta go. She can't stay here. She gotta go. So go ahead and pop. Ooh, well, it was eager to go too. It was like, fine, if you don't want me, I'll leave. I'm like, good girl. I'm glad we didn't even have to have a discussion. So that's what we're working with so far. I like that a whole lot better, but I still want to get rid of this. I just don't know what to get rid of it with, and since the stuff in here doesn't fit, I don't want to, you know, disturb it too much more. But yeah, so I think we're at the end of what we're going to do with these palettes. Now I know this color story isn't still as great as I'd like it to be, so we're definitely going to revisit this one. I don't know about some other ones, like I want to replace that Lav-ish shade as well, but I know we're definitely going to revisit this one because she's just not complete. I could grab some other shades from other brands and like press them into the pans. I have done that as well. Like I did that with my Winnie the Pooh palette. I pressed some shades in it to make it work. So I might take some shades that I like and press it into some pans and put it in here. But for right now, this is what we're working with this palette. I was hoping the shades would fit better, but I feel like you can't tell too badly. I mean, somewhat you can tell, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be as far as being able to tell the difference. But yeah, so this is all I got for this episode with these 3 palettes. So you've seen the before, you've seen the after, and this is normally how I go about changing up my palettes. So let's show the 3 new shades. I still think the Lav-ish one is probably the best one we did today, because honey, the Lav-ish palette is definitely giving. It's giving everything. It's giving. So we did those, and we did the Snow White palette. So that's what we worked with today. So I think they all turned out nice. Allison one is my least favorite, but that's just because it started off with a weird color story, and since they made the weird pans, it's hard for me to like come up with a different one without necessarily having to, you know, like repress stuff in to make stuff work and all that. So it's my least favorite one just because the pans don't fit and it has an odd color story. But that's another reason I wanted to get it, because I feel like it'd be a challenge to make it into something that I want, even though it might not necessarily match the colors of what's going on with the movie and whatever thought process they had behind it. I don't see where this orange comes in though when it comes to that. Like I understand the greens, I understood like the kind of like icy shades, but it's like, where does that random orange come from? That's all I want to know. Anyway, these are all the palettes that we recreated today. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye. Tell me which one is your favorite down below.